All right, so in this video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about what I think makes relationships healthy. Based off of my observation, experience, what are some of the most important attributes what are some of the most important attributes that have to be involved in a relationship for it to be considered healthy? And I wrote this down on my docs, just taking notes, and there was a few things that I put down. It was humility, selflessness, good, respectful communication, emotional intelligence, and then the last one was sacrifice. But I put that like in bracket because I think sacrifice goes hand in hand with humility and selflessness. So let's start with the first one, humility. Why is it so important for somebody to be humble in a relationship? And from me, from my personal experience, I'm going to explain why I think it's so important for somebody to remain humble in a relationship. I think pride is one of the most dangerous things you can have as a character flaw as a person. And the reason I say that is because if you're a prideful person, it means you are unable to see correction. It means you are unable to self-reflect. And what that means is if you cannot self-reflect, if you don't have self-awareness, if you are not open to constructive criticism because your ego does not allow you to think from that perspective, you think that nobody can correct you, you will never grow as a person. You stop growing as a person once you feel like you are too big or too grown or are too correct to even entertain the possibility of being wrong. And I've seen this happen so many times in the sense that um, there will be miscommunication, there will be an offense between a couple, two people, and rather than the person who is maybe at fault, even if they don't think they're at fault, to be like, oh, I'm sorry for how I made you feel, they engage in a back and forth, right? And I wrote this down as like in one of my other notes, but one of the things I wrote down was that even if you feel like you haven't done anything wrong, it is still important to be able to say I'm sorry, right? Be able to say I'm sorry even if you don't understand why the person is upset. Just understand that they are upset about a specific thing and have the humility to put your own ego to the side and be like, okay, I'm sorry. That usually calms the person down. At least for me, if I'm upset with somebody and the person is unable to at least say I'm sorry, it makes it worse. It's like you did this wrong thing and yet you're still arguing and you can't still apologize for it. Whereas if somebody doesn't necessarily understand what they did, but at least they're like, okay, I don't even know what I did, but I'm sorry, it calms me down, right? And it allows you to engage after the fact in a discussion where both parties are no longer heated, where you can then go into the details of, okay, why did you feel offended? Why did you feel that what I did was wrong? That's where you can now have healthy communication. But it all starts with taking the position of somebody that is humble, right? If you don't feel like, I'm just gonna give a few. I don't know if I should give too much personal experience, but um, those I've had multiple situations like that where somebody does something wrong, right? But they keep arguing and arguing, and they do all sorts of mental gymnastics and word play to kind of dance around the fact that, yeah, maybe what they did was wrong, but they just don't want to say I'm sorry. I feel like that's one of the most dangerous things that you can have as a character flaw in a relationship, and if you cannot get rid of that, you are going to have a more difficult um, um, life in general, right? Because even with dealing with regular people, why would you want to stop growing, right? Why would you not want to be open to the possibility that, oh, maybe this person knows something that I don't? Let me take the hard posture, regardless of what their age is, right? Regardless of whatever situation is. Now I'm talking in general. Why would I not want to be open to constructive criticism so that I can grow as a person, right? Sometimes I ask myself why people don't have this kind of attitude or push you towards life. Because to me, it's just one of the scariest things that I can think of, for you to be 60 years old, but be too prideful at that age to feel like you can still learn and still grow. And then that is causing problems in your relationships, right? And then the second thing is selflessness. I think selflessness is one of the most important things you can have. And the reason I think it's important is because it's biblical. Like, life is way easier when you have the posture of somebody who is selfless. So, for example, if you're like, oh, um, I'm in a relationship with this person, no matter what happens, I'm going to think of them better than myself. What that does is it removes the tension and the back and forth fight that you have within of, I want to do this, but I know I need to do this for this person. For me, at least, once I automatically say I'm selfless, I'm thinking of this person better than myself, that feeling of not wanting to do what I know I'm supposed to do for the next person because I'm thinking of my own selfish desires is automatically gone, because you just tell yourself doing it this way is better, and it is, right? And that's why when the Bible says think of your neighbor better than yourself, or when a man and a woman come together they become one, you need to think of your partner better than yourself. You need to sacrifice for all these things. Are They make life so much easier when you think from that perspective, because you're going to be like, oh, I want to do this, my partner wants to do this, both of us are not agreed. Well, if you're thinking of them better than yourself, it's so much easier to be like, you know what, I'll let's do it your way, right? And hopefully the partner you're with is also like that. And so both of you, then it's better to argue for like you guys letting go of what you guys want. That's it. That's healthy. Like, no, I want you to be happy, and you're also saying, oh, I want you to be happy. Let's do, and then you guys come to a compromise, as opposed to you overthinking in your head, like not wanting to um even be open to doing it or doing what you need to do for your partner, because you're like, oh, I'm thinking of what I want to do for myself, right? That once you get past that level of thinking, then it's easier. Your relationships just get much, much, much easier. And then the next aspect is good, respectful communication. Good, respectful communication in relationship is so important. And like, the way you talk to your partner when it comes to conflict is one of the most important things I look out for. Like, when you're angry, how do you communicate? What are the words you use? And that's why I'm also careful when I date people. I see, do they curse a lot? Um, I'm very observant. Like, I don't just see somebody and just to be like, oh, this person's attractive, so we're going to be good together. No, you have to observe them. Like, how do they joke around? If somebody is joking around with you, just playful, and maybe they don't mean it in a malicious way, but they're throwing around insults and they're throwing around, words that are not nice. You have to think about it. Like, if they can say this to me when things are nice, what are they going to say to me when they're actually upset? These are the type of stuff that goes through my head, and a lot of people don't think about that, but it's very important. There are some things, especially from as a guy, when you're dating a woman, and if you notice that a woman has a very bad mouth and she has a terrible way of communicating when she's upset, those are red flags that you cannot avoid. Because if you marry or you date somebody like that, obviously the long-term goal is to marry. But if you end up with somebody like that, right, that knows how to use words to really get at you, you're going to develop insane amount of resentment, right? Because words are powerful. And even the Bible says that a harsh word can, I don't want to mix it up, but it says a harsh word can destroy a friendship. Like, it is strong enough to build a wall between you and somebody else. Just saying something bad is so powerful that somebody can build a wall that they will never bring down again, just because you said something in a heat of a moment that maybe they revealed to you a vulnerability and then use that against them, or you said something that was just very nasty to them and they can't get over that. These things are real. So you have to make sure that when you're looking out for somebody and you're dating somebody, you need to be like, how does this person handle conflict, right? You need to be able to be upset with each other and communicate, hey, I'm not happy right now, I need some time, or I'm not happy right now, can we talk about it now? And you need to be, first of all, as a man, have that developed in yourself to be able to regulate your emotions, know how to just confront issues head on and not sleep and wake up with malice or the problem that you faced yesterday going into the next day. It's so important that you go and you talk about it and you resolve it, and you resolve it in a way that is maybe light and and fun, and just understand, be aware of whatever the situation is. Of course, like how light and how fun you make it depends on the severity of what you guys are communicating about. But communication has to be respectful for a man. Do not allow yourself to just entertain disrespect in how a girl talks to you because you're attracted to her. Because I'm telling you, when that attraction dies like 20, 30 years in the future, you still have to live under the same roof as that person. And there's and then you're going to be asking yourself, why did I ever put up with this in the first place? Right? And so good, respectful communication is so important. Emotional intelligence is one of the other things that I think it's the main last thing I want to talk about. But emotional intelligence, this is one of the most difficult skills you can develop as a man. Emotional intelligence is your ability to listen, observe, read the room, and know when to talk, when not to talk, how to talk. It's a skill that I can't even really explain. It's wisdom, essentially. It's wisdom. And there's two ways you can get emotional intelligence is by observation. It's very important. Me, my personality, I'm a quiet person, so I observe a lot. I read body language a lot. I watch a lot of these, shows like reality shows in the past, um, um, dating shows, and I'm just very observant. And you have to get good at that, and you have to learn too. You have to learn body language. These are things that I did for myself. You have to know, okay, there's an issue that just happened between me and this person, right? I want to talk about it now, and I want to use the skill of good, respectful communication, right? You're right in that sense. However, emotional intelligence is what will tell you, okay, I know how to be respectful. I know we need good communication, but is this the right time? That's emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is the wisdom to discern between when to talk about something, when not to talk about something, observing the person's body language. Should I bring this up? How should I bring this up? Is wisdom the best place you can get this sort of wisdom? Read the Bible. There's so many, any crazy story or any crazy drama that you want to think of is in the Bible. And if you read these things and ask yourself, how does this apply to my life? How does this apply to the situations that I find myself? When you start thinking from this perspective, like these people were human beings as well. And there's a very high chance that if I was there, I may have been making the same mistakes. But thank God I have this knowledge to be able to see so that I don't make the same mistakes in the future. That's wisdom. The more you read, the more you learn from people, the more you observe, especially when it comes to women. You need to learn. Don't listen to what they say. You have to be good. You have to be good at reading body language, and you have to be good at interpreting what they are saying behind what they actually say. If you understand what I'm saying. A lot of times when a girl says, "Oh, I'm upset, don't talk to me, I never want to see you again," emotional intelligence or wisdom is what is going to help you discern between, okay, she's saying she doesn't want to see me again, she's saying she's upset, but I can tell she's just really saying that in the heat of the moment and she's emotional right now. I can go and talk to her later on. That is wisdom. However, wisdom and emotional intelligence is the same thing that will help you realize when a girl says, "Don't ever speak to me, I don't want to see you again." That is also what is going to help you determine she's serious. Like she's saying this, but this is not one of those situations where she's just saying it just because she's upset. She actually means it this time. So I think out of all the skills that I've talked about today, emotional intelligence, I think is the number one thing that you must develop. I think once you become a good listener, it means you are truly somebody that wants to understand the next person, which is humility, right? Which is selflessness, right? Which is respect. You respect the person, which is healthy communication, right? Somebody who is emotionally intelligent is has to be a good listener, has to be a good observer, And I think if you can really master these things and, like I said, read the Bible, see how you can apply to these things, be a more curious person. If you're looking to date women, go and learn, you know, what they do when they like a guy. Go and learn what they do when they don't like a guy, right? These are the things that I did when I was like 21, between the ages of 19 to 21. I really, really went on YouTube and I was researching it because I wanted to learn, I wanted to improve, I wanted to educate myself and become a better man, not just physically, but also like intellectually. How can I regulate my emotions? How can I be all round attractive, not just attractive in one area? And so I think of all the skills, humility, selflessness, respectful communication, emotional intelligence, if you apply all these things and sacrifice, I think again, sacrifice is a byproduct of all these things. If you're emotionally intelligent, you know when to sacrifice for your partner. If you're humble, you know when to sacrifice. If you're selfless, you know when to sacrifice. And so I think humility, selflessness, respectful and good communication, and emotional intelligence, the most important, emotional intelligence, develop these things, and I believe that you will have a healthy relationship. So I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you guys on the next one.